All right, we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to jump right into it. I'm JaQ Lee, the infamous teacher that sparked controversy for getting his hair taken down by students. So yeah, that's me. I've already made a video addressing some of the things that I've been seeing on social media, and I'll put it somewhere in here. Maybe make it pop up, or at least put it in the description so you can watch that too. And I have timestamps as well. So I mean, it's a pretty long video, but if there's a particular thing you want to hear about from me regarding this whole controversy, I have timestamps conveniently placed in the description box so you can look for whatever you need to hear there. But this video today is going to be about grooming, because a lot of people were talking about grooming, accusing me of being a groomer, this, that, and the third. So we're going to address the grooming allegations and accusations here in this video. But before I do that, I want to start off with this message that I received on TikTok. I won't say her name, but shout out to you. I'm gonna call her Miss C. Shout out to you, Miss C, for being respectful. She even said in the message, I'm just gonna private message you respectfully. So I do appreciate that. So shout out to you, Miss C. And she wanted to give me another perspective. I'm open to respectful discourse. I'm open to different perspectives because I'm an open-minded individual. But as an open-minded individual, I at least expect that energy to be reciprocated. I know that everyone is not like that, but me being an open-minded person, I do appreciate being around people and discussing things with people who have an open mind. She wanted to send this to me in case I never thought of this perspective. This is actually a perspective that I did think about, but I'll just read it. I don't think your intentions were bad, but it really doesn't matter because it's not what really changes anything, you know? If your intentions were good, nothing would have went further. But going off your intentions being good, it opens doors for the kids to believe that this behavior is okay with the next adult. And the next adult may not be as trusting as you. The next adult can be a bond. The next adult can bond with the child. Most people are victimized by people that they know. A lot of victims don't tell because I can't even read. Because they don't want to get their abusers in trouble. Many feel guilty for having emotional ties with this. You allowing this behavior sets children up to be emotionally vulnerable to untrustworthy adults, and they could build a bond with the adult before things escalate. That's just how grooming works, and now that the child feels deeply connected to the adult and believes they're friends, they'll be more afraid to tell what happened if or when something does. So that's why it's best to refrain from being unprofessional around children, because they heavily look up to you, and your influence impacts how they view other people and how they interact with other people. You may be a good guy, but this is just a reality. I hope this offers more insight with a heart. So heart back to you, Miss C. I do appreciate your respectful private message, and this is something that I have thought about throughout all this and even before. Which is why I wanted to make this video, to kind of put my sense in. So I was open-minded. I hear this perspective. This is 100%. Yeah, that's 100% valid. That's a valid outlook to have, especially dealing with the things that are going on today. Literally today, the whole thing with Diddy just came out with the video and stuff. So I get the hypervigilance, but again, just like I am open-minded to hearing things, I appreciate when other people are open-minded as well and can hear varying perspectives. So if I may, I would love to give my perspective on this situation in grooming and how grooming ties into all of this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. And just like in the other video that I made, I like to start off with the definition so we can have an understanding of what the word actually means. So grooming is a manipulative process by which an individual builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with someone, often a minor, to exploit, abuse, or harm them. It happens in steps. Number one, you target the victim. So essentially you choose who you want to, prey on. Number two, you gain their trust. Number three, you fill a need, so someone that they can rely on, someone that they can depend on. Number four, you isolate from your support network. And number five is when typically the abuse occurs. Creating a balanced and nuanced understanding of human behavior is essential. While it's crucial to be aware of the risk and signs of grooming, it's equally important not to let fear dictate our perceptions of an entire gender. We cannot let fear dictate our perceptions of an entire gender. We'll circle back to that. But although as an educator I have to gain trust and I have to fill a need in a student's life, it's not in a way that's going to be used to manipulate or take advantage of them, because that is the last thing I want to do to my scholars. It's crucial to acknowledge the reality of grooming and abuse as these are serious and damaging behaviors that require awareness and preventative measures. One more time. It's crucial to acknowledge the reality of grooming and abuse, as these are serious and damaging behaviors that require awareness and preventative measures. But it is equally important to avoid generalizing negative behaviors to an entire group of people. My problem is people making me out to be something that I'm not. I don't appreciate people seeing a video as wholesome as this and to make all of these generalizations based off of things that they may have seen, things that they may have heard, things that may have happened to them. It is not fair to project that onto someone else. I understand. We're trying to keep the kids safe, but actually we'll just get into this. The narrative that all men are potential predators can be harmful and counterproductive, especially for young women growing up in today's society. One more time for the people in the back. The narrative that all men are potential predators can be harmful and counterproductive, especially for young women growing up in today's society. Here's a few ways that the perpetuation of this narrative can be harmful and counterproductive to the youth, especially young women. Number one, we have fear and mistrust. So unnecessary fear and mistrust. If you instill this idea that all men are monsters, are you not going to be scared of like every man that's in your life or that you see or that's around you? It may lead to difficulties forming healthy relationships. So this can be either friendships, it can be relationships with colleagues, or it can be romantic partners. So if this young girl grows up to believe every man is a monster, that is going to impact how she interacts with every other man in her life, whether that's romantic, professional, or platonic. Number two, mental health. So living in a constant state of fear. So let's nerd out for a second. We're in a constant state of fear. We're triggering the fight or flight response in our body, our sympathetic nervous system. When your sympathetic nervous system is triggered for long periods of time, this can inhibit immune function. This alone can inhibit your immune function, so making you more susceptible to virus and illness that you encounter in your day-to-day life. So living in constant fear can affect your mental health. It can lead to social withdrawal, anxiety, and stress. You don't even want to be around people anymore because you're scared. So that's mental health. Number three, hindrance to positive interaction. So due to the perpetuation of this narrative that all men are monsters, this may cause an individual to miss out in beneficial relationships with teachers, mentors, family, so on and so forth. So if they're scared because they think all men are monsters because that's what they were taught to believe their entire childhood, that when they get older, they're going to miss out on so they might have a good man, whether that's a romantic partner or a professional partner or so on and so forth. Just be a regular person looking to improve their life in some way, be a mentor, be a guide, help them in some way, and be a positive role model in their life. But they're going to miss out on that because they think that man is a monster. Good men can exist because mommy, daddy, grandma, auntie, guardian told me that all men are bad and you need to always have your high beams on, always be on high alert in this sympathetic state. So yeah, they may miss out on beneficial, good, actual, genuine relationships with men because they were taught to believe that all men are monsters. So that was number three. Number four, unfair generalizations. Kind of similar to what I'm experiencing right now. All men are not the same. And unfair generalizations perpetuate stereotypes which can harm social cohesion and mutual respect. This is exactly the objective of the elites. I call them the elites that essentially run the world, the powerful oligarchy that runs the planet. They want to destroy the family. They want to destroy the man, especially the black man. They want to destroy the black woman. They want to destroy the black child. Literally, not only just black, we won't even restrict it to race, but this is the objective of the rich oligarchs that control the entire world. Maybe we'll make videos on that because that's a conversation, that's a rabbit hole for another day. But this is the objective, to destroy the family, to destroy the family dynamic, to destroy the communal dynamic. They don't want us to be united, because when we are united, then we're a problem. When the people are united, when the people come together, we can no longer be controlled. There's a small group of people controlling billions of individuals on this planet right now. And all we have to do is wake up and realize that we're all being screwed by the same people, and we come together and join forces. No matter your religious affiliation, political affiliation, socioeconomic status, gender, race, so on and so forth, as long as you're doing something positive, as long as you're not perpetuating negativity in the world, we're on the same team. Let's fight against the real evil in the world. We're getting off track. There's more important things to be worried about than a black man who's actually a good person and genuinely cares about the safety and well-being of not only himself but those around him, especially his students. But yeah, so perpetuate stereotypes which can harm social cohesion and mutual respect. We won't respect each other. We won't be able to become a unit and be cohesive and work together because of the things that we were taught to believe, these unfair generalizations. My proposal or my solution to this, which hopefully we can come to an agreement for the people who were, saying the same thing that Miss C was saying, that, your intentions could be good, but this can open up another can of worms for the child down the road. While I'm on that topic, I want to remind you all that although we are well aware of things that have happened in the past, people that have been taken advantage of, so on and so forth, but we have to give the youth a bit more credit than we do already. All of the youth, and especially young girls, because this is what it all involves. As I had young girls taking my braids down, we cannot assume that all young girls are just naive and easily manipulated. At least in my experience at my school, majority of the parents at my school are exceptional parents. They're exceptional parents and they instill good habits in their children. They have discernment. These kids have discernment. Most kids that I've encountered, just like most adults that I know, you can spot a weirdo from a mile away. You can spot a good person from a mile away. They know when a teacher actually genuinely cares about them, and they can feel when a teacher does not genuinely care about them they don't care about the whole child. They just care about the work and the academics and this, that, and the third, but they don't care about the whole child. In order for kids to really learn today, they have to feel as though their teacher cares about them, that the teacher sees them and tries their best to form authentic relationships. That's the harsh reality of education today, especially public education in the urban community. In order to be an effective educator, the kids gotta like you. The kids gotta relate to you in some way. The kids gotta feel like they matter to some degree. And if they don't, you probably won't be the most successful. That framework of just robotic teaching and this traditional approach. Think about iPhones. Think about the first phone and how we've progressed to the iPhone. Or the first computer, now we have laptops. Or the first car, and now we have freaking armored Cybertruck. You see that growth, and improvement, and creativity and innovation. Creativity, innovation led to these new devices, these new designs, these new concepts. Think about when public school first started, how the classrooms look, how the schoolhouses look. Fast forward years down the line, look at classrooms today. Literally, it's exactly the same. Bunch of rows of desks, person in the front spewing a whole bunch of stuff and passively absorbing information. That's what school is for the most part today. This traditional approach to education, at least in the public school urban community, is not working. It's not working. I've been a teacher for 5 years, and I have educators in my school that's been in the profession for several decades that come to me for advice. How do you get these relationships, these authentic relationships with your students? How do you form these relationships with the parents? Everyone loves you. The parents, the students, the staff, you get recognition. Your students are engaged. They're interested in learning. The behavior issues that I have, you don't have. Quick little caveat, then we're gonna get back into the balanced perspective. Every week, the middle school team comes together. We meet and talk about, different things, different topics, or whatever objective we have to complete. But a part of that meeting, we set aside for student concerns. So we have academic or behavioral concerns. We bring these concerns forth in that meeting, and then we all have like a roundtable discussion. Every time, I won't say every time, I'll say 95% of the time when there's a student that is in question that people are saying their concerns, we go to person A, B, C, D, and all of those people had something negative to say. This student is never paying attention. He's never in his seat. He doesn't do his work. He doesn't exemplify what a scholar should be. And then he gets to person E, me, at the end, and he's like, "Okay, Mr. White, what do you feel about little Jimmy Jim?" I'm like, in my class, he's listening. I mean, he may talk here and there because they're kids, but when I tell him to stop, he listens. He does his work. He may miss something sometimes, but he is very quick to do his missing assignments. He asks questions in class. He's attentive. He helps out with tasks around the classroom, with the animals, with sweeping the floor, wiping the desk. He washes the dishes. So it's like night and day. Like, all of these teachers are experiencing this side of that child, but then they come to my class and it's a completely different child. That alone says a lot. That alone says a lot. But I'll leave that. We'll table that discussion. Here's my balanced perspective. But here's my balanced perspective on grooming and how we should look at grooming as a society, especially us adults. First one is critical thinking. And critical thinking is not only something that kids lack, which, I mean, they're kids. They gotta grow. They gotta learn. They gotta mature. But a lot of adults lack simple critical thinking skills. Simple critical thinking skills. A lot of adults lack that. Imagine being an adult saying a whole bunch of stuff about a man you don't even know based off something you saw on the internet. Somebody could have twisted that or altered this in one way, or you only saw 3 seconds of this clip, and you just form your own generalizations and conclusions from that small piece of information. All the while, the man you're attacking is innocent. And not only is he innocent, he has the support of the entire school community. I have the parents, current and former, students, current and former, rallying behind me to protect my name. And not one person has come forward to say anything that matches any of the crazy, baseless claims that are online today. Yet, people will see all that, but still push this narrative like I'm this monster. Critical thinking. We are lacking critical thinking, so as adults, we must teach the youth, and clearly other adults, but we're talking about kids here. We got to teach the kids to assess situations and individuals based on behavior and context. Now, of course, people can be manipulative, people can take advantage of that, but again, energy never lies, and most people today have an energy radar that's pretty dialed in, that's pretty calibrated. You just know when someone's on that type time. People in the comments saying they were victims of assault, they were victims of being groomed, and they watched the video and said, I didn't get an ounce of any type of grooming behavior, like there was some ulterior motive behind all of this. Actual victims. So yes, we must teach critical thinking. We're teaching the kids to assess situations and individuals based on behavior and context. We got to teach them to think critically. If you feeling weird, if you get a weird feeling from this person, steer clear. Most kids do that because they're taught that at home. If you get a weird vibe from this person, stay away. Even my student said this very thing after this thing. My student said this exact thing after all this. They said it while they were undoing my hair, but even after the fact, like, no other teacher. Well, there was one other teacher. No, 2 other teachers that they, feel close with. They're female teachers. But they said other than that, any other, like, they wouldn't feel comfortable with doing that because they don't have that type of bond. They don't have that type of relationship. They haven't built that type of rapport with that particular person. They don't feel comfortable, so they steer away from doing things like that. They steer clear of doing things that make themselves feel uncomfortable. So we got to give the kids a little bit more credit because they're not all naive. A lot of them are actually quite smart. Yes. Number 2, building healthy relationships. Teach the youth how to recognize healthy and unhealthy relationship dynamics. And you have to also model this behavior. So you can't tell your child to do this or look for this in a person, or telling them like, oh, this is what you need to look for in a healthy relationship, whether that's a friendship or professional relationship or romantic, so on and so forth. You also have to model that behavior. You cannot say one thing that, oh, you need to seek these positive relationships, you need to look for these qualities or these characteristics, or you need to feel this way or that way. But then at home, what are you modeling for them? You can't model an unhealthy relationship and then expect your child to go out and look for that. A child's upbringing and the relationships that they see as they grow and mature have a huge impact and influence on their relationships later in life. So if healthy relationships are not being modeled at home, how do you expect that child to listen to your advice and, oh, let me go out and look for these characteristics or qualities when they're not even seeing that at home? So we have to build healthy relationships, teach them how to recognize. We got to teach them how to recognize healthy and unhealthy relationship dynamics. And we also have to model the behavior. As a teacher, we can't just say things. We have to actually model it because that helps the students to learn and grasp the information. Once you model this behavior and teach them how to recognize unhealthy and healthy relationship dynamics, this knowledge empowers them to make more informed decisions. So it gives them that confidence. Like, I have all the tools on my belt and now I'm ready to go out and use them. This is what we need to do. So we got critical thinking, teaching critical thinking skills, and also building healthy relationships, as well as modeling healthy relationships and modeling the behavior. Going back to this quote I said earlier, creating a balanced and nuanced understanding of human behavior is essential. While it's crucial to be aware of the risk and signs of grooming, it's equally important not to let fear dictate our perceptions of an entire gender. We must encourage the youth to recognize and value positive relationships, trust their judgment, and seek support when needed. This will lead to healthier interactions and a more balanced perspective on life. By promoting critical thinking and understanding, we can help build a society where trust and safety coexist. That's my thing right there. I would love to live in a world where trust and safety coexist, and where the actions of a few do not overshadow the good of the many. We're gonna have to run that whole thing back. By promoting critical thinking and understanding, we can help build a society where trust and safety coexist, and where the actions of a few do not overshadow the good of the many. We cannot perpetuate the idea that all men are monsters to our young people. We must stop perpetuating the idea that all men are monsters, all men are groomers, all men are predators, all men have ulterior motives, all men are trying to take advantage of you in some way. We have to abandon this idea. We cannot let the actions of a few overshadow the good of the many. There are genuine men out here who care for the safety and well-being of not only themselves, but others, and especially children. Not all men are monsters. I get, again, for the third time, I understand the hypervigilance, but we cannot live in fear. Living in fear is detrimental to our health. Living in fear is also detrimental to our whole society. We cannot live in fear. Trust and safety must coexist. We have to find a way for safety and trust to coexist. It starts with teaching critical thinking skills, building healthy relationships and modeling the behavior, and creating a balanced understanding of human nature. Humans are bad. Humans have done some pretty screwed up things, but there's also a lot of good people. And I'm a good person. And I'm making my videos, I'm putting my 2 cents in because I have a right to. I have a right to defend myself. I have a right to defend my honor. People are telling me to, drop it. We're over it. How can you drag somebody through the mud and try everything in your power to assassinate their character? And then once the smoke clears and he's coming forth like, yeah, all this stuff you're saying is not true. There hasn't been one person that has come forward to say, all these are true. He actually is a monster. If you look closely, I got parents in comment sections, in lives, on Facebook, on TikTok, wherever, defending me, defending my character. How do you expect someone to react to millions of people attacking him for no reason? Millions of people making baseless claims about you off a video. Generalizing you into a whole group of people based off their own experiences or things that they think about. That's not fair. You cannot just try to publicly execute someone and then when it fails, they're just gonna roll over. That's not me. I have to clean my name now. I have to clean my name. I have to restore my image because what the internet has done. Yes, I brought it here. I brought it here for a respectful discourse. I can respectfully have a discourse with people who argue in professionalism, boundaries, and we're talking about the grooming and protecting the kids and not setting them up for future. That's why I'm making these videos. I'm transparent and I'm trying to work with people. But those people, the professionalism, the boundaries, the grooming and protecting the children, I already spoke on all these and I understand. But also, again, can we have an open mind and look for ways to be innovative and creative in our approach to education? Because the proof is in the pudding. It works. It works. I have high academic performance. I have high test scores. I have low behavioral issues. I'm not saying they're non-existent. I do still encounter behavior issues, but my behavior issues that I deal with compared to what my colleagues may deal with or what I see in other schools, I have it sweet. And it's like that for a reason, because of my non-traditional approach to education. It works. The kids love it, the parents love it, the admin love it. So no, I'm not going to just drop it. I'm not just going to move on. No. Y'all put me in the light. Now I have the light. Y'all literally made a genuinely good guy famous. Y'all made a good guy famous. Y'all thought y'all had me. Y'all tried to find every little... Imagine shooting a man with your last bullet, and he stands there, unfazed, head bloody but unbowed. No, I'm not just gonna, oh, well, he shot me. Okay, carry on. No, now it's time for me to attack. You gave me the light, now I'm gonna use it. Y'all have made a genuinely good guy famous. I literally have become an overnight celebrity because I'm a good guy. And people are seeing this video and seeing these baseless claims and seeing this and seeing that, and they're like, you know what, let me go check this guy out. They go check out my pages and see what I've been doing for years. And I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty legit. Y'all gave the right person the light, so I'm gonna use it. So I'll move on. I'll get over it eventually, but not until I clean up my name and restore my image. And then after that, I'm going to eat from the plate that you all served me. You gave me this platform. I already had my own platform. I was already making moves on my own, but y'all just took me to another level. Now, since I'm at that level, I'm gonna use it. So, yeah, thank you.